Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Sophia with Garden State Film Festival. We are in its 21st year from March 23rd to March 26th. You can check out over 230 films from 23 countries. It is an awesome lineup. And one of those films you could check out is the short film, A Significant Problem. Definitely one of my favorites so far that I've seen. So I'm excited to talk to you guys about it today. Can you guys introduce yourselves and tell us your titles in the film?
Sure.
Yeah, my name's Jacob Ware, and I'm one of the co-writers, producer, and then I co-star in it, and I play a character named Easy.
I guess I'll go next. I'm right here. I am Trish Harnato, and I directed the film and was a producer on it.
And my name is Joanne Lee. I am a co-writer, a co-producer, and a co-star.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys all so much for taking the time out to talk to me again. And can one of you, I don't know if the writers want to do it or the directors, tell everybody a little bit about A Significant Problem?
I think the writers should kick it off because it started with them for sure.
Joanne, do you want to take that?
I can give a little stab at it. I would say A Significant Problem is a dark comedy thriller that takes place in a Russian safe house and deals with the intricacies and problems of boundaries within a relationship. Yeah, without giving it too much away. Jacob, do you want to say anything else?
I think that's pretty great.
Yeah, well done. Well done.
Great pitch. I love it. And I mean, it definitely explains a lot of what I want to talk about without giving anything away. Just the uniqueness of like talking about a marital relationship, but then also having this crazy problem because in like a Russian safe house. Where did you guys come up with this idea, Jacob and Joanne? Where was it coming from, and what was that writing process like, writing it
Well,
together?
like actually, I think the writing process and how this came about was pretty amazing. Like Joanne and I started to come up with the idea kind of like right around, I don't know, May of like 2020. Obviously, a really complicated time for everyone, and things were happening, dynamics were changing, and relationships were starting and breaking down at the same time. And Joanne and I wanted to like start writing and doing something, and keep doing something like creative during such a really difficult time for everyone. And as we started to write, this idea really started to come out, the idea of like boundaries and high stakes, and yeah, I don't know. So it was, and then as things kept going, like the story kept evolving and turning into something, I don't know. Joanne, do you want to pick up then?
Well, yes, exploring boundaries and relationship within this the confines of time. You know, time was like kind of a crucial element to what we were dealing with, and brought together the high stakes situation. You know, of what was happening in the film. Um, One of the questions that we kind of started asking in the beginning was this idea of someone who thought of time as if they were moving through time, or are they the kind of person that felt like time was moving through them? And these two different kinds of people are think about life very differently, and how would we bring these two people, if they were in a marriage, for example, with these two very different perspectives on time and how they related to time. That was an interesting question for us, and yeah, how to make that situation be as high stakes as possible. Well, you'll have to see the
And
film.
Joanne, I would even
Yeah.
add, just from like an outsider point of view, like, on the side watching these two write different drafts of the script, it was obviously during a time where we didn't understand time, you know, and it was early pandemic, and there was just so many massive questions about everything and what meaning was, and it was fascinating to watch them then personify it through these characters in this situation that, you know, could be an action movie, and then it cracks open and it, oh, is this a relationship movie? Like, it kept changing,
Right.
kind of like all of our own versions of reality did in that same time.
Right. So it sounds like you were there early in the process, Trish. So did you guys know Trish was going to direct this before you even finished the final draft?
No, actually, you know, speaking about time, it was actually kind of, timing was actually in our favor. You know, Trish was, at the time, I do believe you were like right in the middle of a big kind of undertaking, a big podcast for like Playwrights Horizon Soundstage. So, but if I remember correctly, that was starting to like wind down
Yeah, it
with
was the very
production.
end of it. We filmed this in December of 2020.
Yeah. So no, timing was
Wow.
just, it just happened to like work out. It was in our favor. So no, that was a surprise, that a really great surprise that happened. And
Well, Trish, yeah, can you speak on why you wanted to direct this? Like, what excited you about it?
Oh yeah. I mean, I love any sort of like weird, like kind of like story that you think you know what you're watching. It like starts with a lot of tropes, and you think you understand a situation because you've seen a version of it before, but then it changes and breaks open. And to me, the story that Joanne and Jacob wrote just constantly did that, and it just kept becoming something else as you're reading it or watching it. Or and I was just really excited about playing with tone and pacing and how tense it could be, and then how funny it was. And, you know, Jacob and I have worked together a lot, and he's such a great comedic actor. And Joanne, you know, Joanne's hysterical. And then, but just really seeing it evolve and knowing that the end product would do that same thing, and that the journey would constantly be kind of a slippery one where the audience hopefully is never quite sure like whose side they're on or what's going to happen next. So I got excited early about that stuff.
Yeah, I totally agree that it's funny but intense, and the tone kind of switches up. And what is that like for you, Jacob and Joanne? You're both such strong actors. And Jacob, you're nominated for Best Actor in a Short. I looked at your bio. Both of you have been in some awesome stuff. You're obviously extremely talented. So, what was it like playing with those tones? And it's really just you guys. It's just you guys in this
It's
one
just
location
them. I mean, it's really
carrying the film. You know, so what was that like? Was it challenging?
I mean, Joanne, you're like, working with Joanne's just, that makes the job so easy. I mean, you're just so funny. And like, it's just like, it was like not daunting, as because like you're constantly pivoting and changing and stuff like that. But you know, having such a strong scene partner it just makes it everything. So I don't know. Where normally I would be a little bit nervous and apprehensive going into it and being like, oh, how's this going to work? Yeah, just playing off you, Joanne. It was so easy.
I mean, I could say exactly the same thing. You know, having written something that was for us, and then having, I mean, Trish, you're so smart. You know, I think you were really um, so tuned in to how those changing and shifting tones, so that it didn't fall into one particular, oh, I've seen this kind of thing before. You know, I think you did a really great job in kind of actually forcing me as an actor to not just go into like what would be the normal thing. Don't act pissed. Don't act, you
Yeah,
know,
I know.
you know.
We all had a lot of discussions about like when to play against the text in order to kind of make it pop or feel a little, you know, to kind of elevate the situation. And both of these guys were so game and so great at that, you know,
Right.
and what you can do with inflection, um, and expectations, and how you subvert those. Um, and how it kind of can make you feel weird and do something else with like, it doesn't even matter what they're saying at a certain point. It's all about like communicating through tones. Does that make any sense?
It does.
Okay.
And it definitely touches what I wanted to ask, because about with direction, it's both directing and acting, but it's easy, you know, when you have only two actors in this one location,
Yeah.
you can get bored, or maybe it all sounds the same at one point. Never at one point
Right.
is like this film repetitive, or it's always changing and always interesting. So what's important when directing something like this that is so dialogue heavy? And
I mean,
yeah.
to me, it was like, it was kind of understanding what planes the characters were on and when they missed each other and when they intersected, and really like finding moments of surprise within that. And, you know, that's just always such an, like something that I look for and I'm so interested about. And then how to elevate that through, you know, the shot composition or through, you know, a musical choice that is almost counter to what's happening, and sort of just introduce, you know, using the tricks that we have, but using them in a little bit of a non-traditional way in order to like introduce like a feeling of uneasiness, because we're messing with expectation. And it's so funny how ingrained, I think, as viewers, we are to finish a story in our mind when we think we know the beginning. And this story isn't like that. And so, you know, to me, one of like the most fun of going in and working with these guys, and then obviously the whole team in post, was to, you know, keep building it in a way and breaking it in a way and rebuilding it that would, you know, take the audience on a journey that they weren't, you know, that they didn't know they signed up for.
Right. Joanne, Jacob, you two balance each other so well. Both, as you said, both so strong comedic actors, but in a different way. We start off with Joanne, without giving anything away, but we start off with Joanne and you set this tone. And then Jacob comes and just changes that shift. Do you guys think you wrote for your strengths? Did you write your dream characters? Like, was it so good because you wrote for yourselves, or you're just so talented?
Both. I'm going to say both. But
Yeah.
just outside, inside point of view, both. But I want
I don't even know if there was a question in there.
You know, it's so funny. I feel like I don't know, Joanne, maybe you can agree or disagree here, but like, I feel like when we were writing this, I don't know if we were necessarily thinking about like our strengths as performers per se. I don't think so.
No, I don't think we were. I think we were, sorry to cut you off.
No.
But it felt like we had these two opposing characters, you know, personalities, and maybe we are, you know, as people can maybe give off that vibe, you know. And how those two kind of personalities, you know, if you stick them in a close relationship, how that would play out. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily thought of myself, but it was really fun for sure to play, you know, have these two people play against each other, and like the comedy that exists between these two characters, it's in the relationship, you know.
Yeah.
And I would just add into that what these marvelous actors did so well was like, you know, this wouldn't it wouldn't work if it didn't take itself completely seriously, right?
Yeah.
Like even the comedy, I think, would not land. But they approached this slightly absurd world, you know, but with utter like seriousness.
Oh, and an earnestness.
Yeah, and
for
an
sure.
earnestness. And
Yeah.
I think that plays, from my point of view, to both of their strengths, and then also allows for like, you know, big moments of comedy, but also, you know, there's a lot of moments that from performance that I think are so wonderful, that are so tiny as well, that are just acting choices that are great.
Was there a small crew on this? I know it was only that one location and you guys were all producers.
What if there wasn't? That would be terrible.
No, okay. Okay, so
There
the
was.
journey of all of this is that because since we shot it at such a delicate time, we did, and because we set out, we're like, we definitely want to do this, so just do it, and easier said than done, but it's one of those things. In order to make that happen, we had to do a stripped down version of everything. I mean, and that even goes to like the crew, the amount of days we filmed. So everything we were definitely wearing.
There was only 5 of us, including the 3 of us.
Hats. Yeah, we were wearing a lot of hats during the whole
Wearing all the
thing.
hats.
And being COVID safe, and
Well,
taking
that's the
that
thing.
very
We wanted to
seriously.
do
Right,
that.
right.
And because of that, it was very, very minimal how many people we had on set in a remote location.
I mean, I feel like we should mention the 2 others.
Yeah, let's shout them out. Is one of them the editor? Because that editing, oh my god.
Oh, one of them's not the editor. That's
Oh.
No, our DP, the genius
John Gebhardt.
John Gebhardt, and then Terrence Cray, who is an incredible filmmaker in his own right. And Jacob has worked a lot with Terrence. Both of them were on set, and we could not have done it without them, and they were just amazing.
Well, I definitely wanted to ask you about the editing, but we're running out of time, so I can't.
Right.
But who is your editor? Because I love the way you guys edited this. It's such.
With 2 editors, actually.
Our first was Ariel Sherman.
Yeah.
And then Dan McBride.
Oh yeah, who is just wonderful. And
Yeah.
it was both of them in a piece like this with tension and jump cuts and or jump scares, and like we have a lot of kind of tricks of camera in there, and editing tricks. And I hope everyone comes to see it. He was instrumental in building all that.
And I gotta say, the editing was its own comedic aspect, and just every single element of this film was so strong. So we're totally over time. I can't ask you guys any more questions, even though I have a bunch. But
Well, we'll
I
see
will
you
ask
in
you
New
guys.
Jersey, right?
Oh yeah. Wait, what'd you say?
We'll see you in New Jersey. We'll see you.
Oh yes. Will we all be at the festival?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Jacob,
Yes, we
you're
will.
definitely going to come because you're nominated for Best Actor, which I threw in there, but it is a big deal. So sorry for making that just like
No.
It's a huge deal. Best Actor in a Short. I wish you all the best in that. Thank you all so much. Congratulations. I love this film. I can't wait for people to see it at the festival. Let me tell everyone how. Oh, yes. My pleasure. Let me tell everyone how you can watch the film. It will be screening in Asbury Hall, March 25th, Saturday, March 25th, in the Film Block, 6 to 8 p.m. So definitely check it out. You can get your tickets at gsff.org. I would suggest getting the Parkway Pass because that'll get you in all the panels, all the events, the red carpet gala, all those screenings. But you can also get tickets to the screenings itself or day passes, and then definitely get your tickets to the awards ceremony. Maybe you'll see Jacob getting a win there. And I'm really looking forward to meeting you all in person.
Me too. Can't wait.
Well, thank you guys. Congratulations, and I'll see you at the festival.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.